welcome to the Rankers. My name's Kyle Wright, and with me again is Stuart McPhee. How are you, Stuart?
Kyle Wright, you son of a bitch. My son, I'm great. How are you?
I'm well, and of course, why wouldn't we? We're here indulging again in our favorite topic, that is the topic of Oasis, which is now ridiculously only about 4 nights away, and it's sort of a surreal feeling that this is happening. What about yourself, Stuart?
Indeed, it does make me think that we have this podcast to rank things, but it almost feels like every second time that we catch up, we're just talking about the lads, which is I'm happy to talk about Oasis at any stage, at a drop of a hat. It is very exciting. It's particularly when you start to see some of the things coming out, such as the collaboration with Adidas. There's that fan store that's in Manchester at the moment. Some of the videos, getting things ready in Cardiff. It's all very, very exciting. And of course, each day gets us a step closer to them coming back to Australia as well, which will be great. And yeah, it's all upon us.
Just so everyone's aware, this is we're recording this on Monday, the 28th of June, and Oasis play their first gig on Friday,
Monday, the
30th of June. Sorry.
Yeah. So as someone who works in finance, I very well know it's the last day of June.
Oh yes. So today's Monday, the 30th of June, and Oasis play their first gig on the reunion tour on Friday, July 4th, which I think will be Saturday morning, our time here in Australia.
Correct.
Yeah, for me, it became real. I think I posted it in our little Oasis group chat when Oasis put up on their socials 7 days, and I'm like, oh, fuck, this is real. This is actually happening. Like, I know I've bought tickets and I've got flights and accommodation to see them in Melbourne, and I'm also going to see them in Sydney, but it just hasn't. It's felt like not like a dream, but like something. It's indescribable. Like but it must be happening because it's put up on Oasis have put it up on their socials. So
yeah,
it must be happening.
Absolutely, either that or it's the greatest prank of our time. And we're all just looking. Well, and by all I mean every Oasis fan, us included, just looks foolish. But we'll see.
So are you thinking like a Dumb and Dumber sort of long play prank?
Damn. Quite possibly. I mean, there was always, the rumors that that the split was one long prank, and they actually, don't mind each other.
I find that hard to believe, but if it is true, it's successful because they've sold out pretty much everywhere they're going, and that money that they've just collected, they're putting in a bank and getting a ton of interest from the billions of dollars that they've just made in ticket sales.
Absolutely. Indeed. And I think I don't know if you and I shared it with one another, but I saw Richard Ashcroft, who's going to be one of the support acts for this. He made the really great point around there's going to be such a fervor from the fans that he said, without wanting to big note myself too much, I'm probably the only guy that can go out before them and be the support act, because I'm not going to get booed off the stage. I've got a couple of classics in the bag to thrash out, and I'm more than happy to play six or seven songs and check my ego at the door and then let the lads come on. It's genius in terms of the right support act before they jump on stage.
Correct. Well, let's talk about support acts then, because I had, if Oasis are getting back together, why can't we get some classic Aussie bands back together? I was hoping for, my ultimate support acts was obviously Powderfinger and Silverchair, but I would have at least settled for just Powderfinger, and then they make the announcement that we got Ballpark Music.
Yeah, look, I was neither here nor there on it. Given that the UK will have Cast and Richard Ashcroft. Cast, a band that I don't have a real association with. I could think of a number of other bands that I would have preferred in that slot. once again, it doesn't bother me. I think, like I said, Richard Ashcroft as the main support is the ideal one.
I think it was the only option they really had, to be honest.
Yeah, I think if we were going to go Aussie acts, I would have gone with one that is still around in UMI, and I say that because they toured Japan together
Or Jet.
in the mid-90s, or someone like Jet. I remember Jet did the Springsteen support act a
They're
couple of
actually
years ago.
supporting Lenny Kravitz when he comes out.
There you go. But yes, someone like UMI would have made the most sense if they were going to go with a classic '90s act.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
just on the reunion bandwagon. Like, why not?
Yeah, I would imagine that the problem with someone like Powderfinger reforming for that is that you then start to potentially overshadow.
No, that's a
things.
good point that I completely
Yeah.
missed in my delirium.
Getting high off your own supply.
That's right. All right, we don't want to have this one go too long. So basically, we wanted to get together and discuss what the rumors that are out there and what might be on the set list. So you're taking it more from post What's Story Morning Glory or post Be Here Now songs that might be on the set list.
Yeah, probably post Be Here Now. Yep.
So I'm going to read you through the set list that has been rumored to be the set list. It looks authentic, although that what AI can do with these things these days. All right, I actually think this first part of the set list is not going to be too far off the mark. So obviously you're going to have them walking out to the recording of Fucking in the Bushes. I think we're all pretty set on that Acquiesce is going to be the opening track. On this list here, we have Columbia, Morning Glory, Cigarettes and Alcohol, Supersonic, Stand By Me, Some Might Say, Roll With It, and Go Let It Out is in that first bracket of their set. What are your thoughts on that list there, Stuart?
Yeah, look, it's all good, and you shared that list with me before we pressed record. So I've seen the rest of the set list. I think one of and it feels like potentially a couple of songs aside that may be rotated in and out of the set depending on how the lads are feeling, and we have now seen it. The gig is likely to go about 2.25 hours, so depending on how much banter's in there, will depend on how much you'll get through. That aside, I think the fact that they've got the number of guitarists that they've got on stage, because you'll have Bonehead and Andy Bell and Gem and Noel, one of them will be playing bass, will mean that potentially the changeover in between songs might be a little bit quicker, so you may get more in. I guess all that is to say that I think what we're going to see is it's without doubt each night will be a hits heavy set, because who knows if this is going to happen again. As I said, you might get 2 or 3 songs that might be rotated in and out, and I think they sort of allude to that on that set list.
Yeah. So on this set list, that just on that first bracket anyway, I think out of those songs, probably the least likely to be played could be Roll With It. I think Go Let It Out is one of their better post Be Here Now songs, and I think it is one of Noel's favoured songs.
Yes.
So I think it possibly gets a run over Roll With It, although if they started with those, what do we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. If they started with those 9 songs, I wouldn't be surprised. So you mentioned on the rotation, on the list here, it's got Hindu Times, Lila, and Shock of the Lightning as the rotating songs.
Yeah, and I can absolutely see Lila and Shock of the Lightning. Hindu Times feels like it's been a little lost to time. I was before earlier on. I actually played Standing on the Shoulder and Heathen Chemistry back to back. Hindu Times I still love as a song, but I don't know if it's necessarily gonna make the set. That to me sounds like it's likely the odd one out. I can absolutely see something like Lila and Shock of the Lightning, being in rotation. I also think, and this is mainly going back to the Familiar to Millions double live album. I can see potentially like a Who Feels Love maybe getting in there if they want to go with a bit more of a slower number just to break it up a little bit.
Yep.
Yeah.
Your thoughts on She's Electric acoustic? I think that's not going to happen.
No, that can go get fucked. Shout out to my brother who that's still he claims to be his favorite song.
So
Sorry.
there's that opening bracket that I discussed,
Yes.
and then it goes into She's Electric acoustic, Half the World Away acoustic, into Do You Know What I Mean? Then you've got those 3 rotating songs we talked about, into Masterplan, which seems like a strange way to do it. When the times I've seen Oasis, usually Noel does his acoustics all together. So
correct.
Like 3 or 4, and then maybe saving one for encore.
Yeah.
So I would love to see. I'm fairly confident Masterplan's going to be played. There are whispers that Whatever is on the set list. I think it's one of Liam's favorite tracks, so it could make it. And I think you're probably getting a B-side or one of Noel's possibly as well, whether it's Do You Want to Be a Spaceman or just something like that. I'm not sure. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I think this is the other section where you might see a little bit of variety with Noel's acoustic section,
like a rotating Noel's acoustic songs.
Yeah, that's right. Where you're likely to get something like Talk Tonight or
Talk Tonight. Yeah.
Do You Want to Be a Spaceman or Half the World Away, or maybe doing his version of Fade Away or something like that. That is absolutely on the cards, depending on how he's feeling on the night, because I think it's outside of these 1 or 2 potential changes. It sounds like the set list is going to be the set list for the most part. Yeah.
I think you're going to have the set list and then a couple of rotating songs.
Yes. Yeah.
So I think you're. I like what you've said there. So you're going to have the Lila, Shock of the Lightning, and I can't remember the other one you mentioned. Maybe
Who Feels Love or something like that.
And then you might have a rotating. Well, obviously you're going to have Masterplan. I think that's a lock.
Yes.
But then the other acoustics that he does might be on a rotation as well. The one I found interesting on this set list is All Around the World. We know it's one of my favorite songs. However, I don't think it's going to be on the set list. It could be. It could be like the end of the set before they go on to an encore or something like that. But it's also got It's Getting Better Man on there as well. So I'm not sure if they're doing a throwback to Be Here Now to end that sort of bracket of the set there.
Yeah.
But I think of the songs on that list, other than She's Electric, I don't think All Around the World and It's Getting Better Man are going to be on the set list.
No, and when I saw both those on it, I thought for a second, well, did you make this list, Kyle?
No,
is this what happened?
No.
Though you immediate disqualification for She's Electric acoustic, but I didn't know if that was a red herring that you put into it. I think Be Here Now. I think you're definitely going to get Stand By Me. You may get what's the? It's not Slide Away. It's the
Don't Go Away.
Don't Go Away. Sorry.
Yeah.
You may get a Don't Go Away, but if you got Slide Away, you probably don't need Don't Go Away.
Plus, I think you're getting Stop Crying Your Heart Out. So I don't think you can have Stand By Me and Don't Go Away in the same set list as Stop Crying Your Heart Out. It's just too many ballads.
Yeah, that's right.
I think Stand By Me is probably the one to choose between that and Don't Go Away.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's a lock, but I'm fairly confident you're going to get Stop Crying Your Heart Out on there.
Yeah.
And Slide Away is guaranteed. I think it's one of Bonehead's favorite songs, so it's definitely going to be there.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely.
The other rotation, which is interesting on this one, is it's got I Am the Walrus and My Generation rotating as the closer. Your thoughts on that?
Well, interestingly, this is where the unknown comes into it with Joey Waronker as the drummer. If Zach was still drumming, I would say absolutely My Generation is what ends it. But I'm not quite sure like I can't immediately think of what Joey Waronker's style is. I mean, I know he's done a fair bit with REM and the likes. So there's absolutely going to be a cover. I don't know if it's necessarily going to be I Am the Walrus though.
Okay.
My
Do you think they
generation
could resurrect Come On Feel the Noise or something like that
maybe
from
Can't
way
Feel the
back?
Noise or yeah, that seems like the likely other one. I can't see them doing any other Beatles ones except for Walrus. That is likely to be it. Just trying to think of some of the other covers that they've done, mainly as
Well, Noel
B
used to
sides.
do an acoustic of "You've Got to Hide Your Love Away,"
Yeah, yeah.
but that's not going to be your closer.
No, no. And they may even.
They did do "Heroes," but I don't know if
Yeah, they
they
did do Heroes.
ever.
They may even decide that actually, you know, who's a legendary band that we can finish things off with? Oasis.
Yeah.
Maybe we can do an Oasis number to finish it.
Oh,
Who knows?
so you've got that opening bracket. We've discussed a little bit of that middle one. It's got Champagne Supernova closing off that one, which I think is a lock. And then you've got your first encore, Rock and Roll Star, Wonderwall, Don't Look Back in Anger. I can see that happening.
Mm-hmm.
And then your second encore is Slide Away, Live Forever, which I think would probably be a good finishing point if you weren't going to finish with the cover.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the other one that potentially makes sense is Don't Look Back in Anger or the
Yep.
Masterplan.
Yep.
Um,
How do you think Liam would feel about Noel finishing the set though?
yeah. Yeah. Good point. Good point. Which is potentially why Live Forever makes the most sense.
Yeah.
It all depends on, you know, let's not assume that they've thought too much about it. But at the same time, I think they've thought a lot about it.
Yeah.
And you know, it's similar to, you know, whether it's Swift with the Eras tour or any other, you know, major act.
That's the
That
first time Taylor's got a mention on this podcast, I think.
well done us. I think if you're talking about a band that has a legacy and a history, and whilst they're not going to you know, hit you over the head with it, there will be some subtleness to how they construct the set list in the end, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Just quickly, so I looked at every album since Be Here Now or After Be Here Now. I came up with 10 songs which I think are potentials for the list. Some we've already talked about. This is just in chronological order. So Fucking in the Bushes, which I think is a lock. Go Let It Out, which I think will get there. Who Feels Love is potentially one that comes off the bench. Stop Crying Your Heart Out, I think will make it. I think because of that, I can't see Little by Little making it, but I had it there anyway. I reckon Songbird may make it if we do an acoustic with Liam coming out after a couple of Noel acoustic numbers.
I think you've got Little by Little or Importance of Being Idle. I think it's going to be one of those two.
Yeah, yeah. So I've got Lila, Importance of Being Idle. I like the idea of Turn Up the Sun. I think that would sound pretty good. And then for the last album, I've got I'm Out of Time, which I really, really like. I think you do too. And Shock of the Lightning.
I think Shock of the Lightning, if it's not a lock, it will definitely be one of those rotating songs.
Yeah, yeah. Like I said, I would love to see them do I'm Out of Time. But the beauty of it is that I can't think of any one song that that I'm dying to hear, and if they don't play it, to me it won't be the end of the world because they've got enough there to satiate me for you know, for 2.25 hours. So yeah,
that's it. Yeah, but in when Oasis, before they broke up, they had a history of playing the exact same set, no matter what venue they were playing at. Do you think, because it's been such a long gap, that although they might have a
on where they play. Oh yeah, and particularly. Yeah, look, I think it really depends on. Whilst they will want to have representation from their entire career, uh, ultimately they will lean on the bigger numbers, and particularly in the US, I think you'll see more of the first two albums. That being said, the 10 songs that I listed, you know, if we get four of those songs at least, then that's actually not too bad. And we know that Go Let Out, Fucking in the Bushes, Stop Crying Your Heart Out, and Importance of Being Idle, along with Shock of the Lightning as a rotating, are likely set list mainstays. So yeah, I think they may change things up a little bit depending on the region. So it'll be interesting. It's probably a nice segue into, and we haven't discussed this yet, but whether we fire up the satellites once I see them in Edinburgh as a bit of a post gig roving reporter. Um, I'll dial back in to let you know how it all went. Correct. I'm glad I'm not going via the Mid East. um, um, yeah, it's like the '90s. Never ended. Yeah. So uh, I I think I'm 39 days away from getting to see them, which really looking forward to. Uh, and so yeah, after that gig where I'll be taking my reluctant 7-year-old to go see Oasis. Well, yeah, exactly. We'll work out the time differences and we'll record a quick review from the bleachers. I think Melbourne. Yes, 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 yeah. I think I'll be only be able to review the loutish behaviour from the Scots, which no doubt will be fun. It'll be a vibe close to it. Yep, absolutely. Cool. No problem, sir. Great to chat. Absolutely.